Hello there, students. Thank you for joining me for this presentation. Today we're looking at United States History Semester A, and we're looking at Unit 4, which is the rise of a modern nation, and our main focus will be the Progressive Era tutorial. Please make sure that you have your notes with you or your notebook with you. This way you can take the necessary notes in order for you to be able to answer the questions presented in the tutorial, as well as unit activities. In this lesson, you will discuss the impact of progressives, including their efforts to shape public policy. Let's move on. We are now on page 8 of the Progressive Era tutorial, and this is your lesson activity, Progressive Lives. Let's read the directions here. Directions: read the instructions for this self-check activity, type in your response to each question, and check your answers. At the end of the activity, write a brief evaluation of your work. And please make sure that you read the question first, or what you're being asked to do here first. And once you've done that, make sure you go to the link, or given link in this case, because this has more information that you will need in order to answer the question or questions. Let's read what you're being asked here to do. Write a brief essay comparing two significant progressives using what you learned in the lesson or in this lesson and this additional information. So you're using what you have studied so far, and you're using this particular link here in order to answer or provide your response. The progressives you write about should be involved in different reform movements, not just on one reform movement, but in a couple of them. Find out about their lives and organization, and describe how their activities supported the reforms to which they were dedicated. So you're looking basically for two individuals, and you're providing information about those two individuals. How did those individuals work? What areas were they involved? And what was the outcome? Were they successful at what they were asking or complaining about? Did they were able to bring changes? Just give me a good essay here with, I would say, with at least 3 paragraphs. You have an introduction, then you have a body paragraph, and then you have a conclusion. Make sure that you're being thoughtful in your responses. This way your teacher will know that you are comprehending the content of this lesson. We are now on page 9 of the Progressive Era tutorial, and this is another lesson activity. And this is basically on the Triangle Shirtwaist Company fire of 1911. Let's go here to the activity. Once again, make sure that you read the question first. Once you have read the question, you basically go in to any links that you're giving, in this case this link right here, and make sure you're using your notes. This way you have all the information ready to be placed and used to write an effective answer here. So let's read what you're being asked to do. Read about the Triangle Factory fire, and then write a newspaper article as if you were a muckraker. Describe the details of the fire, focusing on what the tragedy demonstrates about working conditions and the jobs open to women and immigrants. So this is really interesting here, because first of all, you need to pretend that you're a newspaper reporter or writer, and you need to write an article about what happened in this case with this fire that basically injured and killed people. And remember who were the people working in that area at this particular time. And you're looking at basically women, females, and you're looking at immigrants. So those two were the groups that basically suffered. And there was there were no laws that really protected a whole bunch of these people and the environment that they worked in, the working conditions that they worked. So make sure that you are able to write a good newspaper article, pretending that that you're reporting on this, that you're a muckraker, and make sure that you do at least, in this particular case, at least 2 solid paragraphs. I would highly encourage you to do more than that, but at least 2 paragraphs should be enough for this particular activity. Let's move on. Alright, we are now on page 25 of the Progressive Era tutorial, and this is a fairly simple activity. We've done this type of activities before, in which you're given tiles, in this case with different names, and all you're doing is you're moving these tiles where they correspond here. Look at the description that you're given here and then just match them. Once you're done with that, just hit submit and move on to the next activity. We are now on page 26 of the Progressive Era tutorial, and this is about child labor photos. Let's read the directions so we'll know exactly what to do here. Read the instruction for the check activity, type in response to each question, and check your answers. At the end of the activity, write a brief evaluation of your work. Activity. The industrial growth of the United States drew people into cities to find work in factories, in stores, and around town. However, child labor emerged as an issue with the increased urban population. Child labor brought about controversy and motivated reformers to advocate for new laws and employment practices. Part A. Read about the Louis Hine, a progressive photographer. Then visit this gallery. This is a link. You need to go here and choose at least 3 different photos that provoke a strong reaction from you. In the table, note the titles of the photos you choose and describe and reflect on the condition depicted in the photo. One example has been provided for you. Type your response in the table. So you're basically just grabbing information and using it here. And this is what you need to do. You need to look at the picture and at the photo. You have to do 3, by the way. And you need to obviously tell us the photo title, and you need to describe what's going on here. You see that the example is given to you. It has very good sentences here. You should have about the same or more describing what is happening and what are your feelings about this. Do you agree? Do you feel sad? Do you feel that this was unfair? Do you feel that in one way or another the childhood was basically stolen from a whole bunch of kids because of these conditions? Put yourself in their situation and tell me what you see and what you think. Let's move on to part B of this activity. Imagine that you are a progressive representative in 1914 who has just seen the pictures by Louis Hine. Brainstorm a list of objectives or policies that you can offer to Congress as a basis for new laws. Right here, you're basically answering what you're being asked here to do. Make sure, once again, that you are on top of this. Make sure that you are even overanalyzing. It's okay. But let's read again what you're being asked to do here. Imagine that you're a progressive representative in 1914 who has just seen the pictures by Louis Hine. Brainstorm a list of objectives or policies that you can offer to Congress as basis for new law. So please make sure that you basically put your policy here or policy objective and explain your rationale, the reason why. For example, you may say that children should not be working more than 5 hours per day, and okay, so that's a good point. So your rationale will be because if they work more than 5 hours per day, they cannot go to school, and they lack the opportunity to get an education and better themselves, maybe to a better job. And then once again, you need to provide another policy objective, and you also need to provide a rationale. Make sure that you fill this box completely, as I know that as a student you feel compassionate about the situation that children or kids were actually being part or exposed to during this particular time period. And we have come to the end of this presentation. I will see you in the next tutorial.